sport which stand the test of time. Nadia Comaneci's perfect 10 at the Olympic Games in 1976. Michael Phelps winning 8 gold medals at the Beijing Games. And Rafael Nadal's 14 French Open titles, if I could just name a few. On Sunday, Bryson DeChambeau pulled off one of the toughest feats in golf. He went 12 under par 58 at the Greenbrier. Bryson joins me now from New Jersey. Now, Bryson, congratulations on that. The work that you put in at the gym is well documented. But did you surprise yourself with the height you achieved when you leapt in the air after that birdie putt dropped in the rain at the Greenbrier?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. First off, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'll say that height was back from my volleyball days. I played a lot of volleyball growing up, and so I got some hops, surprisingly. But I will say that was probably the best golf round of my entire career, if not the best weekend. So pretty proud to be able to do it.
Bryson, I met you last year during the Bangkok Live event. We also spoke briefly during the Hero World Challenge in 2021. Now, a lot of professionals play golf for a living. For me, having spent time around you, you've always come across as a student of the game. Now, it's been a few days now, so when the emotions have sort of subsided, how do you reflect on what you've achieved?
Well, it's a lot of years of work. It's an accumulative process of working tirelessly in the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. No matter the situation, giving it my all. Everybody thinks, oh, it just happened and, you're this great talented player. No, I really have worked hard to get to this place. It's taken accumulation of over decades of work to be able to perform at that level, take on the pressure, conquer it, and execute up to my full potential. And then have a little bit of luck play into it where, you got to have good bounces during the round. And fortunately enough for me, I had pretty much all of them go well for me, which is not normally the case.
I sort of know the amount of hard work you put in. I spent 3.5 hours waiting for you to talk to me during that event in Nassau. But just looking at the way things have sort of panned out for you over the last couple of months, some pretty good results. You came second at the Live event in Spain. You won this. Let me ask you a direct question. Are you expecting a call from Zach Johnson? Or perhaps if I could rephrase that, the way you're playing, do you think you should be on that Ryder Cup plane to Rome?
I would love and be honored to be on that team. Do I think or expect it? No, I don't. It seems like it's a lot of a friend sort of group, which is sort of unfortunate. But if I do get the call, that's fantastic. If I don't, I'll be watching the team in Rome. I mean, there's nothing more to say other than I hope they pick the best players for the country, because it's not about PGA versus Live. It's about who's the best players in the country at that present point in time.
Bryson, whenever you achieve a high, you remember the lows. You sort of take on board the lessons from that period. It's been more than 2 years since you won the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I just felt like, and I looked it up, it was the longest wait of your career, and it would have hurt you considering your stature in the game and sort of the superstardom that you have.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a long time, and it's been a frustrating process. There are times where I thought I might not ever win again. I mean, it's just one of those things that golf is fickle like that. And fortunately for me, I was able to put something in my bag last week that I felt really comfortable with off the tee. And I know my putting is always as good as it, has been to win, and it's good enough to win. Coming off of a U.S. Open victory and then winning the Arnold Palmer the next year, I was expecting to continuing to do great things, and sure enough, I hurt myself and got into a bad spot mentally, and then the golf world changed, and a lot of other factors happened. My father passed, and a lot of other things that just were difficult to deal with as a 29-year-old. And you just never know if it's going to be your last event, but the emotions that I've put into it, the dedication, the hard work, I really think is what has allowed me to persevere and create that passion for and drive for winning again. And last week it was not a matter of really if I was going to win, but how much I was going to win by. I felt like at a certain point in that final round, and it was just pedal to the metal, and the emotions poured out at the end.
Yes, I can see you're pretty emotional at the moment, but just let's then move on. Golf is an individual sport, but now you have a team alongside you. How have those three helped? Because we've heard of Anirban Lahiri and you having a session in Singapore and trying to iron out the flaws when it wasn't going your way. So how has sort of been like a band of brothers, all of you?
It's the greatest thing to have a team behind you. I can't say it any other way. Golf has been an individual sport for a long time, but college, we had a team. And I thoroughly enjoyed every single minute with the golf team that I had back in college at SMU. And having that opportunity now with Liv and seeing that opportunity in front of me, I absolutely jumped on it. And I wanted to surround myself with wiser individuals than me, people that knew more about the game, knew more about the sport, the ins and outs of it, how to create something special, unique, and different. Certainly, Bon is a huge key player in that. He knows a lot about the ins and outs of the game of golf. He was on the pack with the PGA Tour as well as Paul was, Charles was, and that there's a reason why I lean on them because they're wiser than me and they understand uh, a lot of the ins and outs of the game of golf. And I think that's what's so cool about it is for people to realize that as time goes on, it's better to work together with friends and with people than by yourself. Three or four brains are better than one, and to lean on them, to work with them, and to have them have your back is pretty special. It's a band of brothers. It's a family, and I feel like we all do our own thing, but we all have our backs at the end of the day. And I think that's what's really special about the team aspect. And you can see everybody's character a little bit more too, because it's more free flowing because we're playing against each other, but we're a team and we care about each other and how they perform.
Yes, that camaraderie we could see when they all sort of came together on the 18th to congratulate you. I also came across a video of you and Anirban taking on Cameron Tringale and Phil Mickelson in a 9-hole challenge. First up, really good content. Has Live Golf made it easier to be friends with your competitors, if I could call them that?
Well, I think we've always been friends behind the scenes, and nobody's really seen that out in public. It's difficult to see that because we're always competing, we're always on the golf course, but you never see behind the scenes that much. And to be honest, we're friends with a lot of people outside of the sport we play. We don't always hang out together, but we do enjoy each other's company. And I think Live Golf has allowed us to produce more content around that, which is absolutely fantastic for the growth of Live, for the growth of our franchises, and for the growth of our individual value. And I think it's huge for each and every individual to have that access to not only a golf course, but to the content that we were able to produce on that golf course. It would have been impossible on the other side of the coin. But with Live, they allow you to do so much more. And I think that's what's so cool. When you have people aligned in your business model, it makes things a lot easier to help continue to promote and grow something together.
High from the sublime, let's talk about the bizarre. When you won at the Greenbrier, your reward was that your world ranking fell to 109 in the world. It's been more than a year since the application from Liv went through. How can the world rankings be rectified to reflect the current state of the game?
It's too far gone from my perspective, unfortunately. They had an opportunity early on and they didn't see it through, unfortunately. It would take a whole restructuring of the OWGR to even make it relevant. Problem is like, how do you the rankings are an year-end system, and like, how do you make it relevant for next year and who gets invited to the Masters and everything? It's really difficult. It's too far gone. I think a whole new system needs to be put in place. SI Golf has done a really, really good job. Sports Illustrated Golf, they have a great ranking system. I think that reflects the current best players in the world. You should go check it out. It's better than I've seen in a long time.
Yes, I did come across that. You were 28? No. Yes. you were 28. Yes, now you've gone up to 17 in those rankings. When you joined Live Golf, there was a lot of talk about it being a washed-up league of has-beens, how cuts defined golf, and all that sort of assorted rubbish. Monday, the day after your win, the PGA Tour announced 8 signature events, all in line with how Live Golf plays. 70-man field, no cut. Are you, considering the sort of backlash that you faced, are you staggered by the hypocrisy? And do you believe you and all those who joined last year are in fact pioneers?
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, the PGA Tour, although they're working it out, we're trying to figure it out, and they're trying to figure it out. I have no say in it, but it's frustrating that the top officials didn't engage with the PIF earlier on and Live earlier on. It would have made things a lot easier, and us players that all went to Live continue to talk to top officials from the PGA Tour, and they unfortunately never listened to us. And it's unfortunate, but it is the state of the game as of right now, and I believe certainly in the future it will get figured out. It's just one of those things that sometimes people make mistakes.
Just taking this forward, we don't know how that's going to pan out, but you're a captain. You captain a franchise. You have a stake in the product. How do you see this entire dispute being resolved? Because at the moment, we've got a framework agreement and the litigation has been sort of withdrawn.
Well, I think, again, there's going to be most likely a qualification process through Live to get into the majors. From the points standings or whatnot at the end of the year, there'll be like a certain amount of players that get into the majors, I believe. I think that we'll be able to play on the PGA Tour if we choose to for a certain amount of events. I think that you'll see PGA Tour players being able to be a part of a few teams as well, some capacity. I think that the franchise model value will continue to increase and outweigh a lot of the value that the PGA Tours try to provide. I think that the franchise model, it's going to take some time, but there's going to be tremendous value, not only just from a asset valuation, but from like a commercialization to holding land value, creating real estate, having academies, having a golf course, a home course, building them across the world. One of the things I want to do is build academies in India. I think that would be amazing. That's, again, what I've talked to Bond quite a bit about. And I think that it would benefit tremendously from having proper, I guess you could say, relationships all across the world and having golf be the facilitator of that.
Bryson, I hope Anirban has also introduced you to some curry pa, as he's busy tweeting it all the time. Keep entertaining us, Bryson. And here's hoping you now seriously contemplate taking up Yasir Al-Rumayyan's challenge of getting to 54. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.